Hello, everyone. Just got to pause my recording. There we go. Hi, welcome to the class. It is the class with Abby. We are going to be learning some interesting phrasal verbs. If you are a premium member, I would love to see you join the class early. If you are not, we can see you in about 2 minutes from now, okay? Who do we have with us here? Hello, Eduardo. How are you today? Hi, Eduardo. Can you hear me? What about you, Steve Out? Can you hear me? Hi, Eduardo. I can hear you. Can you say hello to the class? Hello, Eduardo. How are you? Can anyone hear me? Can the students in the chat room know if you can hear me? Okay, perfect. We've got no responses? We have Eduardo Jackson. How are you today?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, is it Steve Out?
Excuse me.
Hi. What's your name?
Thibaut.
Hi, Thibaut. How are you today?
Hi. Good.
Where are you from?
I'm from in French. South of French.
You're from the south of France. Very nice. Nice to have you with me
Yes.
today. I think this is the first time I have ever met you, so welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Okay. Thanks.
Rodrigo Alves, how are you today? You're from the south of France. Very nice. Nice to have you with me today. Rodrigo, can you hear me?
Hello, teacher. I can hear you. Sorry.
Thank you for coming in. Good to meet you.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you.
Where are you from, Rodrigo?
I'm from Brazil.
From Brazil. Thank you for coming in. And is this the first time you have had a class with me or the second?
With you, it's the first time. Yes.
The first time.
The first time.
Very good. Well, thank you for coming into the class, Rodrigo. It's nice to meet you.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you too.
Okay. Hi, Mina. How's it going?
Miss Abby, hey.
I love those words, Miss Abby.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
What is new since we spoke last?
I went to the church.
You went to church.
Yeah.
What did you learn in church?
No, I'm in charge of a PlayStation Center for kids.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said church.
Yes, church. There is a PlayStation Center in a church.
In the church.
Yeah, church is not small. It's like a small city.
Kind of like a recreation center.
Exactly.
Very good. Okay, well that's good.
Yes.
Hi Vikram.
Yeah. Hi,
How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm very good. Welcome to the class. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Where are you from?
I'm from India.
India. Excellent. Well, welcome to the class. I appreciate you coming in. My name is Abby. It's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So Vikram, when you're not speaking, do you mind just muting your microphone on the top right-hand corner of your screen, just so we can't hear the breathing?
Okay, fine.
Thank you very much. Awesome. We have with us Igor. Hi, Igor. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. What's new since I was last time in your class?
Oh, that's a good question. Not much is new that I can think of.
But what week? 1 week. How to
It
say?
has-
1 week has.
It has been 1 week or 1 week has passed.
Yes, 1 week has passed. Nothing new.
I cannot think of one new thing. Today I went and got a new alarm on my car.
Only this? On something else?
Nothing else. That's all. Nothing else to share.
Nice to see you.
It's very nice to see you too. Thank you for coming in. People keep saying that I have a new look, but I do not have a new look.
New haircut you have.
No, I haven't cut my hair in like 6 months.
New style of hair. How to say?
Perhaps.
New style.
Perhaps, yes. I like to change it up once in a while. Mina, you cannot rob my car. Even with those muscles, I can take you. It's no problem. Hello, Eduardo Jackson. How are you today?
I'm fine, Abby. And you?
I'm doing very good. Thank you very much. And tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do for work?
I'm from Brazil.
Very good. And what do you do for work? What's your job?
I'm a system analyst.
An assistant analyst. Very good. Well, thank you very much for coming in. It's nice to have you with us all the way from Brazil. Hi, Dway.
Hi. How are
How's
you?
it going? Very good. How are you?
I'm fine.
That's an interesting picture that you have. Where are you from?
I'm from Colombia.
From Colombia. Okay, very good. You have on your picture that something about Jesus, but I think I missed it.
Excuse me?
The salvation is Jesus. Okay, I was just reading your picture.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Very nice. Welcome to the class from all the way from Colombia. Very nice to have you with us. Christian Andres Bolaños. How are you?
Yes. Hi. I am good. Thank you. And you?
Very good. Nice to have you in the class. I think I have met you before, right? I've had you in a class before.
I think maybe yes. Maybe 1 month ago.
Yes, it's been a long time, but it's nice to have you. So thank you for coming back.
Thank you.
Excellent. Carlos, no swearing in the chat, please. Hello, Alexandra. Welcome. Alexandra, how are you doing? Alexandra, can you hear us? If you're speaking, your microphone might be on mute, so you might want to check that. Alexandra Sudol. Okay, we'll give her a moment to set up. It's good to see everybody. My name is Abby. Some of you know me, and some of you don't know me, so it's very nice to have some new students in the class. Does anyone have any questions for me before we start? Perhaps to warm up for class, we can have an interview with a few of our students. Any questions for me or any of your other students? For example,
Yes.
go ahead,
Yes.
Mina.
How can you see yourself in 5 years?
How do I see myself in 5 years?
Good question.
Yes.
That is a good question. The future is so uncertain.
Okay.
Was the question for me, Mina? For me?
Yes, that is the question.
Okay, I think that I am going to look exactly the same. I'm not going to get older. And I see myself, I don't know, maybe I won't even be in the Dominican Republic. Who knows? The future is very uncertain. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I'm still teaching dribbling now. Thank you, Igor, for helping me out.
That's
I'm going to
good.
actually mention that to Tibao. If you could make sure that you mute your microphone when you're not speaking, okay? Because there's a lot of noise with your typing and with your breathing in your microphone. So mute it until it's your turn to speak, okay? Thank you very much, and thanks, Igor, for helping me out. What about you, Dwayne? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
To me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, maybe in a different company. I'm doing different things.
Doing different things in a different company.
Yes.
So you have change in the next 5 years. You hope to
Oh
see
yes,
some
of
change.
course.
Excellent. What
Yes,
kind
I
of
want to change.
company? What
Now
kind of
I'm not
company would you like to work for?
in electronics or computing, something like that. Because now I'm working on a textile company,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like to change.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that with us. What about you, Christian? What would you like to see yourself doing in 5 years?
Okay, I work in my own company from since 7 years ago,
Okay.
and I work as a graphic designer, and I like the technology. I like to work with um, businesses with, for example, with Google or with Facebook. I want to work with that companies, but it's so hard for me in this moment.
Okay, so you plan to expand your business.
Yes, of course.
Okay, very good. Igor, what about you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
To be honest, I can't say in 5 years because it's too much time, and I think you know that our times is very uncertainty. So in 1 month, maybe all can change, but in 1 year, much more can change. So in 5 years, I can predict what will be in 5 years.
That's a good point. Anything can change in the next little while, right? Very good, you
Yes.
guys. Round of applause for Mina. He came up with a fantastic warm-up question. Mina, you rock. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I really am sorry I can't give you a better answer because I just don't know.
Yeah, that's why I asked it.
It was a good question. What about you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I'm always in interviews. I get this stupid question.
So you thought you'd share the stupid question with us.
Welcome.
That's funny. Another interview question that's very popular is, what are your
is
3 best?
Yes, 3 weakness and 3 best qualities.
I know. It's like everyone's going to have the same answer for that one, aren't they? Good work, you guys. Okay, let's get started. We're going to work on our phrasal verbs. Alexandra, can you hear us now? What about you, Ahmed? Ahmed Seeker. Okay, very good. Does anybody here speak French fluently?
Excuse me?
Anyone speak French? I think Tiva was not understanding when I say to mute his microphone. So maybe somebody could explain it in French if they speak it. But if not, that's okay. I am not about to start speaking French. It's quite embarrassing. I'm going to go ahead and put our document into the chat. We're going to have a lot of fun today. I'm really excited. I love phrasal verbs. They're hilarious, especially with Igor and Mina in class. So you guys are in for a treat.
How
Let's go ahead.
they are hilarious?
How are they hilarious?
What does that mean? Hilarious.
Phrase hilarious?
Yes.
Who knows what that
Wow.
means? Hilarious. Who can answer that question?
Funny.
Yeah. They are extremely funny.
Oh,
They are
okay.
okay, that's what hilarious means. You'd say that's hilarious, meaning that's really, really funny.
Okay.
Okay? So let's go ahead and get started. If everyone could open up the document, we have part 1. The 2 phrasal verbs that we're going to talk about is to get in and to take over. So we need 2 volunteers to read the parts of Vicky and Matt. Who would like to be Vicky? Hi, Stefano. Are you with us? Vikram, are you with us?
Yeah. Hello.
Hi. How are you today? Do you have the document?
Hi. Fine. Yeah.
Is it okay? Go ahead and open up the document. I would like you to read the part of Vicky under part 1B. Okay, you're going to be Vicky.
Okay.
And who would like to be Matt?
I want
Okay,
to be
fine.
Matt.
Okay, Dway, you're going to be Matt. Thank you for volunteering. That's what I'd like to see. Let's go ahead and read this so we can discuss it, okay? Go ahead and start us off, Vikram, with Vicky's part.
Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead and start reading.
Do you have a glittering career? It is all you ever dreamed it would be. Well paid, nice coffee, company car.
How are you getting on at work?
How well are things are going for at work? Maybe you have been lucky enough to land dream job in your ideal company.
You've got your dream job. Mind you, it was difficult to get in.
It was difficult to get employed by the company.
But you got through the interviews and tests.
Yes, you managed to press the test and were successful in the interviews.
You got it.
And
Oh, I'm sorry.
so Matt, how are you getting on at work?
How I'm getting on? Oh, fine. In fact, I've just been promoted.
Oh, so you are got a more important job now. That's great. You're really arts heading for the top. A word of warming tough, though. Once you have been promoted, you may find you have to work harder and harder and work longer and longer hours. Before you know it, the job can take over your life.
Actually, you could be right. I think this job is taking over my life.
Excellent reading, Dway and Vikram.
Thank you.
Woohoo! You guys rocked it. That was awesome. So let's discuss what
Thank you.
is going on here. Starting with the very first line, a glittering career. Christian, what do you imagine is a glittering career? What is that?
I don't know what is glittering. I don't know. I can't imagine.
Eduardo Jackson, can you help us? What is a glittering career?
Yes.
What is it?
Hi.
Did you say hi?
I
Yes.
I don't know.
How are you?
What's your question?
I feel like a broken record today. I don't know if it's just me or what's happening. Who can explain what a
I
glittering
can.
career is?
I can
I think
know.
that I can.
Go ahead, Dway. Explain it.
Yeah, a glittering career is awesome, wonderful career.
Very good. And why do we
Brilliant
use
career.
brilliant? Nice. Brilliant.
Remarkable career.
Remarkable. Something extra special. So glitter is like a sparkle. For example, my lip gloss has a glitter in it. It makes it shiny, right? So a glittering career is something that is prestigious. It's luxurious, okay? Mina, can you think of one glittering career?
Networking company, operator.
A networking company. Very good. Maybe that's glittering. What about you, Mohammed? Can you think of another glittering career? Mohammed Nasir?
Mm, mm, Not in mind now, currently. Just thinking.
You look like you might have a glittering career in that suit of yours. All dressed up and
Yeah,
spiffy. What is your career? Mohammed, what is your career?
uh, I got the scholarship. That was my glittering career, I can say.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Very good. Now heading back into the reading here, is it all you, and it should be ever dreamed it would be. So Igor, explain what can sometimes happen. We think we have our dream job, but what might happen over time?
In what sense?
Well, they're asking, is it all you ever dreamed it would be? What are they asking about?
Maybe I think they asking. He asking Vicky. She asking maybe if is only career in his life. So maybe he has something else, family. I don't know, children.
Okay, it's definitely possible, but if somebody asks the question, is it all you dreamed it would be? It's as if they're saying what? Who can say that in another way?
Maybe you want something more.
Okay,
Something
excellent, right?
more good position.
Is it as good as you thought it would be? Right?
Maybe you want to be CEO.
CEO. Very good, excellent. So let's say, for example, an actress or an actor. Would you say that's a glittering career? Tibau? 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 Would you say that an actress or an actor has a glittering career? Okay, let's head over to Stefano. What about you, Stefano? What do you think about that? Okay, Mufat.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Stefano.
Do you listen? Hello. Okay. Can you repeat it? Because I have.
Do you think that an actor or an actress has a glittering career?
I think it's a really good career.
Okay, very good. But how might being an actor or an actress not be all that they dreamed of? What could happen eventually? Is it always a dream job?
Sorry, I have problems with my microphone with the sound. I will try to fix it. I'm sorry.
No problem. I'm going to go ahead and ask Mina while I am at it, okay? What do you think, Mina? How might being an actress not be all that they dreamed of? We've got people dropping. Okay, what about you, Dway?
I think that it depends on the person. For example, if you like the acting, it's good. But if you like other things, I think that it's not really good, because when you really want to be an actor or an actress, you need to stay only in these things. Yes, it takes all the time of you, I think.
Okay, very good. That's a really good opinion, Dway. That's what I'm looking for. Don't be nervous to express your opinions, right? So sometimes maybe an actor or an actress runs into trouble. And what often is the case? Do their problems stay private? What do you think, Igor?
Usually yes, but if they want to make some publicity, so maybe they want to be in eye of the, how to say this, idiom, eye of the people, yes?
Excellent. Yeah, very good. That's an interesting point because maybe from the public eye it looks like, oh, the
Yes,
poor
public
actor.
eye. Yes, and they maybe want a new role, for example, or maybe more good movies to have to participate in that movie, so they can expose these problems. I don't know. So it's a publicity for them, but maybe not.
Very
Depends
good.
from what point of view you look.
Excellent. That's really good, Igor. Thank you for sharing your opinion with us. And I think that you're right. You never know what is actually the situation, right? Very, very good. Now we have the second line with Matt. He asks, how are you getting on at work? What does that expression mean, getting on?
How do you get into the company or into the work, the job?
Okay, we're with getting on. This is a different phrasal verb. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't. How are you getting on at work? What is the equivalent? And that may be another question that means the same thing.
Entrance?
They're already working there. That's the hint. The person is already working there. And you could ask them, how are you getting on?
Time or day somebody spent on work. I think some time or day somebody spends.
The time that somebody spends at work?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, if you say, how are you getting on at work, it's like saying, how are things going at work? Or how is your work? Are you happy there? Do you enjoy your job? Let's try to think of more sentences using that expression, getting on. Let's start with Vikram. Can you think of another sentence using the expression getting on?
How to handle your work.
Sorry?
How you do your work.
Okay, very good. But I want you to make a sentence using the expression getting on, okay?
How do you get this job done?
Is that using getting on?
Yeah.
You gave us a fantastic sentence, no doubt about it. However, let's try to use that phrasal verb. Who would like to volunteer to give me one expression using the words getting on? Who can do that for us?
How are things are getting on with you?
How are things getting on with you? Nicely done, Mina. Woohoo! Mina's on fire, even though he's having internet problems today. How are things getting on with you? So how could somebody respond to that? Hey, Eduardo, Jackson, how are things getting on with you? Stefano, how are things getting on with you? Maybe you need to unmute your microphone so I can hear you. Okay, we've got a lot of silent participators today, if that's what we would call them. Who would like to answer that question? How's it getting on with you?
Great.
He says, great, awesome. Very good, you guys. Just remember, the class is only as good as the participants are willing to be. So please participate, otherwise everyone will get a little bit quiet.
It's
Yeah?
great. I'm enjoying my work.
Sorry, what was that?
It's great. I'm enjoying my work.
Yes, excellent. Nicely done, Vikram. Thank you for participating. I see your words there in the chat box. Thank you for jumping in and expressing that. Nicely done. Okay, what about the next expression there? You've been lucky enough to land a dream job. What does that mean? To be lucky enough to land a dream job. Who would like to express what that means?
Can I answer?
Go ahead. Of course you can. Go ahead.
Okay. You have a perfect job.
Excellent. Very good. So, is it mufak?
Yes, موفق.
Mufak, sorry.
It's difficult, I think.
I'm very, very sorry. I'm terrible with names.
موفق.
Mofak.
موفق.
Okay. So give me an example of what you personally think is a dream job. Maybe describe a dream job for us.
I think it's what I like to do in my job. I like to work like interior design. My job, interior design, and I work another job, not my dream job, interior design.
Excellent. Muwafaq.
موفق.
Muwafaq. There we go.
Yes, perfect.
Very, very
and what is the meaning of to land?
To land a job?
Yes, a dream job, for example. What is
To
the...
land a job, it simply means to get a job.
Oh, okay.
If you land it, it's like you got it. You landed on the job. You captured it. Okay?
Okay.
So when is the last time that you landed a job, Igor?
When I last time when I was hired by, or when I 3 years ago, I think I worked 3 years.
So you could say I landed a job 3 years ago.
Yes, I landed a job. My last job was landed 3 years ago. No?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It's
Perfect.
correct? Grammatically.
Yes.
Okay.
It is correct grammatically. Very,
But
very
sounds
good, you
funny,
guys.
yes?
Sounds a little bit funny, but it's still correct. I would just say I landed a job 3 years ago.
Okay.
I landed this job maybe like 2 months ago, more or less, right? So that's how you would use it in the past tense. I landed a job. Excellent job, you guys. Very, very good. Let's continue on. But you got through the interviews and tests. So what does it mean to get through? To get through.
Succeed.
To succeed. Excellent. What about you, Mohammed? What does it mean to get through? Can you think of another word to get through an interview?
To pass. Pass.
Nicely done. Very, very good. So can you give me an example using that in a sentence, please? To get through, or I got through in the past?
Recently, I got through my interview successfully.
Excellent. And what was the interview for again?
That was about my job. I am a software developer, software engineer. So,
excellent. As a software engineer, right? You landed the job, didn't you?
Yeah.
Excellent. Good job, you guys. See, we're already using them in conversation. We would say that you got in, right? Later on in the conversation, Vicky says that a job can take over your life. So we're going to talk about this for just a moment. What does it mean if a job takes over your life? Dway?
Excuse me?
What does it mean if a job takes over your life?
I can see the word.
You can't hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I can't see the word.
What does it mean? Look in the Verbling chat. What does it mean if a job takes over your life?
It means
the
that
first plan.
you have to assume.
Sorry?
You have to assume in your life this work.
Okay. So how much time do you spend on your job if it's taken over your life? A lot of time or a little bit of time?
8 hours per day.
8 hours per day, okay. So that would be fairly normal, I would say. Anyone have a different opinion than that when it comes to this phrasal verb?
Most of free time.
Most of your free time. So what kind of things start to suffer? What
Your
suffers?
personal life, family.
Excellent. Personal life, family. Maybe we can think of a situation. Friends.
Dogs.
Dogs. Oh, that's really sad. My dogs would never suffer, ever. So very good. You just simply do not have enough time for maybe even the more important things, right? Maybe we can think of a scenario. What scenario might come up where you were not able to participate because your job has taken over your life? Can you think of one? Vikram?
Yeah, I can hear.
What kind of situations might come up and you might have to say, sorry, I can't, I have to work? Can you think of an example?
At workplace, when work are more, you have to work for long hours.
Very good. But what scenarios might come up where you have to say, no, I cannot because I work? What situation might come up? Maybe it involves a telephone. Muwafaq. Can you think of any scenarios?
I think it's this kind of job, it will destroy the life.
It will destroy the life. Very good. So maybe your friends, they phone you on the telephone, and Muwafaq, what will you say to them?
Can you
Hey,
repeat
Muwafaq, how's it going? Do you want to come with us to the movies tonight? Come with us, Muwafaq. Can you come with us?
No, I can't. I have some work to do.
You're always working. You're always working. Can't you
Yes,
just take
all
one
day.
night?
No, I can't because my work take me a lot of time.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe you're saying no to come to the movies. I really wanted to see this movie.
But maybe I will lose my job.
Who cares?
Because I need the job. So I can't go to movie.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
So what eventually happens with your friends? Igor mentioned it already, but what eventually would happen with your friends if you always had to say no because you had work?
Maybe I will lose my friends because I don't have time to share with them.
Exactly. Very good. Mina, we're coming over tonight. I'm bringing chicken, and we're gonna have a barbecue. Okay?
In the movie? Chicken in the movie?
No, chicken for your barbecue.
Okay. I'll get my 4. Okay.
Huh?
I will get my 4 as well.
My 4. What's that?
Fur.
Oh, your
fur.
Fur. Fur. There you go. Fur. Okay, you're fur. So you are not a workaholic. Mina will quit his job to hang out with his friends.
I would.
Tell us
Depend
a little.
on my friend.
Okay, if I'm coming over for a barbecue, would you quit your job?
Yes, if my friend is beautiful, so I would.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be at the church playing PlayStation with your friends.
No, I'm sick of PlayStation.
Okay, what about you, Ahmed? Are you with us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
What is one situation that you would actually quit your job to be able to go and do?
Well, if it is an emergency, maybe.
An emergency? Mm-hmm.
Yes. Um, Something like that, because job goes first.
Excellent, very good. Now let's talk about that. Instead of quitting your job, maybe there's certain times when you might ask for time off. What does it mean to ask for time off, Muhammad? What does it mean to ask for time off of work?
To take some time for thinking.
You need to think about it?
Yeah.
Do you know what time off means?
What does it?
Time off is time away from work.
Yeah, time away. When you are done with your job, I think.
When you are done with your job, when you say that's enough, I'm throwing in the towel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When's another time that you might actually just want maybe a little bit of time off of your job? Sibao. I don't know if he's with us. I muted his microphone, but... Oh, no. What about you, Vikram? What is a good reason to ask for time off of work?
To take some break from work.
Okay, to take a break. Give me some details. I want to know about this break from work. Why are you taking time off? I'm your boss. Why do you want time off? What do you want to go do?
In case of
marriage.
some member.
Can you give me an answer, Vikram? What do you want to do on your time off?
To go for a long tour.
To go for a long tour.
Yeah.
A tour of what? What do you want to tour?
Away from workplace.
To get away from the workplace.
Yeah.
Excellent. Very good. When else might you want time off? Ahmed?
I will ask for a time off to go for a vacation, to travel, to change my mood, and that's some examples.
Okay, very good. So let's go ahead and practice that. Let's say that Igor is going to be your boss, okay? Igor is going to be your boss, and he's very, very stringent. He does not like to give time off. But Dway, you are very insistent. You really want to take some time off. You want to go to the Dominican Republic.
To visit Teacher Abby.
To visit Teacher Abby. So you need
Yes.
to convince your boss that you should be able to go. And let's see if you can do that. I want you to use the word take off and take over my life. Okay, I want you to use those expressions. Go ahead.
Sorry, but time off. This is expression for a long time. For example, 1 month or 1 week, or for 1 hour. It's not this expression.
Let's say 1 week. Okay, just a 1 week vacation.
No, in general, I ask for me to know. So this is for 1 week, or we can say this expression for 1 day, for example.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, well, time off could be maybe anything that is not permanent. So maybe like 1 or 2 days. I'm taking a few days off, you could say. Or I'm going to take time off could also mean a week. You would need to specify because it wouldn't be clear just by using that expression, okay?
If I will say I take time off for 2 hours, no?
No, you would say I will take 2 hours off.
Okay.
I will take 2 hours off.
Okay.
Okay, so let's give it a go. Go ahead, Dwayne. Ask your mean boss, Igor, if you can have some time off of work to come visit me.
Yeah. Sir Igor, I need a favor of you. I need to take a day off for 2 weeks.
Oh, I understand you, but now we work, so we need to work to achieve more results at the end of the year. So I can't do this. I can't give you this time off. Sorry.
Sir, but there are more partners that can't do the work, and it's very important. I need to take this day off.
Okay, but where do you want to go?
I want to visit my friend. I need to relax, to rest for a time.
Who is your friend? If it's not secret.
I prefer to reserve this.
Okay, I can't give you time off. You can say who is your friend, and I will think about.
Maybe I can say who is my friend, but maybe you don't know who is she.
Say, so we see who is a friend.
Yeah,
maybe I know this friend.
It's a friend in Costa Rica.
Take off, take time, taking over. Don't forget your phrasal verbs.
What is your name? What is her name? His name? Her name?
I'm sorry, but that is a little private. And the only thing that I can tell you is that this is taking over of my life, and I really need to.
Okay, Mr. Dway, I have now a meeting, but I promise you we will talk about it after 1 week, maybe. Thank you for your time. I need to go. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Sir.
Excellent job, Dway. I'm sorry, but you
I lost my vacations. Oh no.
No vacations for you. Forget about it.
No,
maybe he wants to know the name of the girl. That's why he don't give me the time.
Well, if your boss asks, you better give it. That's all I have to say.
You could come next day and he will give you this, or if next day will not give, after three times ask him and he will give you.
Abdel Mohsen is his friend, and he wants to go visit him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Very good, you guys. Who else wants to give it a go? Who would like to ask for time off? And you have to think of a reason that you want the time off. Vikram, do you want some time off of work?
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to ask your boss for some time off of work. Your boss is Muafak.
Hi, Mofak. I want time off from my work.
Why? Why? Why you want to time off?
I want to take my wife for a long tour.
To take your wife where?
For long tour. For last 2 years,
I didn't understand
didn't
this
take
word.
her anywhere.
He wants to take her for a 2-year trip. Instead of saying tour, you can say trip.
2 years? 2 hours.
2 years?
Okay, but
Last 2 years, I
2
didn't
hours?
take her for any trip.
No, yeah, about 2 hours, okay, but 2 years, no, of course no.
She is very angry on me.
You can take 1 day time off, just 1 day. But 2 years,
It's not enough for me.
What?
I need at least 2 week time off.
Time off 2 years?
Or I have to
How much time do you want off, Vikram? How much time?
2 week.
2 weeks, sorry.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks now. Now you have a lot of work to do. I'm sorry, I can't give you 2 weeks. But
Then
I can give you 2 days. 2 days.
It's not. Then I have to change my job.
I think You will quit the job if you take 2 weeks. It's too long, 2 weeks.
Ooh, if you take 2 weeks, you're fired. What do you think about that,
Yes.
Virkram? Do you think that's fair?
It's not fair. It's not
So
fair.
give us some emotion. Say, no, that's not fair.
That's not fair. I work so hard for your company, and you are not giving me 2 weeks.
Excellent.
But it's not.
I've given so much time for your company, but you are not giving me 2 weeks leave.
But you didn't
So many hard work.
convince. What?
I work for late also. On holidays also I came
Can you repeat?
in office to complete my work. You are not giving me 2 weeks holiday for so many hard work.
If you have a good reason to take 2 weeks in this time, I can give you, but you didn't have a good reason to take 2 weeks.
But I need right now.
Okay. He did tell you, he said he wants 2 weeks with his wife. 2 weeks to take his wife on a trip. Maybe this will save their marriage, Mufak. Maybe this is how they're going to make their marriage last, by going on a trip, and you're taking that away from him.
But that's not a good reason. It's not about sex. Not about important reason. A trip, and you can take a trip in your vacation period.
You are not.
Okay.
You are not going. You are not taking your wife for trip.
Okay, good job, you guys. Nice role play. Very good job at using the words take off, take out, take this, take that. That was good. Very, very good. Wafak, I would not want to work for you because I find you to be a little unreasonable.
Avi, excuse me, I have a question.
What's that, Dway?
Yes, I need to understand clearly the word to get in. It's like to arrive?
To get in can mean to arrive. Let's talk about that. To get in, maybe arrive. To enter, to be successful at entering. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
So you might say, what does it mean if somebody gets into your head?
To enter in my head to...
Is it literal?
Yeah, it's literal. It's something that take time of you.
If it's literal, it sounds extremely painful. If I said to you, Mina, he just got into my head, what does that mean?
That she's all the time on your mind.
That means that you keep thinking of him all the time.
It could. Settle down. So it could mean that I think about him all the time, but what else could it mean if I'm like, you let him get to your head?
Maybe you want to revenge for him?
He annoys you. Annoys,
right? Maybe it's just like, I really let him bother me. It could mean all of those things, right? Consume my mind bandwidth. Okay, very good. Excellent work, you guys. So that's another way that you can say it. He really got into my head. You could also say to get on. That's another one that's very similar. To get on my nerves. What does it mean if somebody gets on your nerves?
I don't know.
Man, that Virkam, he really gets on my nerves.
Makes you nervous.
Close. It's not nervous.
It means mad.
Mad, yeah, he makes me mad, right? Nerves in your body are very sensitive, right? So if somebody gets on your nerves, it's like an aggravation, an annoyance.
Yes.
And it means to get you mad.
To get me mad, yeah, very good. So, Mohammed, what gets on your nerves?
A lot of noise.
That's a good one. A lot of noise. Amen, brother. That's a good one. What about you, Vikram? What gets on your nerves?
When my boss is shouting at me.
When my boss is shouting at me, that makes you feel like, oh, that's really annoying, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Muafak? I'll never get it. I'm so sorry.
More,
Muafak.
more fast, yes.
Okay.
To make me upset.
Exactly. It makes you upset. So tell me about something that gets on your nerves personally. What gets on your nerves?
Anyone shouted me.
Anyone
Make
that
me,
shouts at me.
yeah.
Anyone who can't say my name correctly.
Why?
Teacher Abby gets on your nerves because she cannot pronounce your name properly. I'm so sorry.
No, my name is perfect. You say my name perfect.
Okay. It took me 2 weeks to get Abdel Mohsen, so I'm doing pretty good with you. Mina, what gets on your nerves?
Maybe when I see someone, like I told you, trying to tease someone who is weaker.
Trying to tease someone who is weaker. Why does that get on your nerves?
Because it reminds me when I was a kid and my friends was stronger than me and they used to hit me.
Oh, Mina, that's sad. So you could say it strikes you. You could say it bothers me, or it gets on my nerves, right? Makes me mad.
Yes.
Very good. What about you, Igor? What gets on your nerves?
I think I do not have such situations.
Really?
Yes.
You have perfect control of your emotions.
Sorry, could you repeat?
That's like saying you have perfect control of your emotions. You never get angry, get upset.
I don't have such situation, so my life, how to say, is simple. For example, I'm here on Verbling, I work, so I don't have stressful situation where to nerve something. And job is not, it's easy job, so.
Okay. Does it get on your nerves when students don't use their microphones and they breathe into them?
No, it's only noisy, and I can't hear what, for example, are you talking about, and I don't understand.
I totally admire you.
For example, you say 10 words, and from these 10 words, I understand only 7 words. 3 words I don't understand. So that's why when it's noisy in class, I don't understand. I lose the meaning of what you say, for example.
Okay, very good. Well, Igor, you're an example to follow. I hope to be like you one day.
Maybe you like me, but you do not say about it.
What about you, Eduardo Jackson? What gets on your nerves? Eduardo, what gets on your nerves?
A lot of noise too.
A lot of noise.
Yes.
How do you respond when there's a lot of noise? What do you do?
I stay noise when the music I don't like. Many people talking. Did you?
Okay, very good. So maybe you feel a little bit frustrated, right? When there's lots of noise, especially when you're trying to sleep. What about you, Dwayne? What gets on your nerves?
I think the noise.
Noise?
Yeah, when it's so I don't know the word really. Well, noise. And another thing is about life is gossip people. Those two things make me mad.
Gossip, yeah. People who like to gossip about other people. That's annoying. I
Yeah,
agree with
for me
that
it's
one.
annoying.
And last but not least, Ahmed, quickly tell us what gets on your nerves.
Okay, what gets on my nerves is when someone asking for something and keep repeating it all the 5 minutes. That makes me mad.
Do you know
I
what we
get
call
it.
that?
No,
We call that nagging.
nagging. Okay,
Nagging.
okay.
Like, please, please, come on, Ahmed. Let's go to the movie. Let's go. Come on.
And you give him a reason that you can't, but he repeats it. He keep repeating.
Ahmed, can we go to the movies now?
No, Abby, we can't.
Aw. What about now?
No, no.
Let's go with me, Abby.
Okay, I'm going with Igor. Bye.
Bye,
Bye, bye.
bye.
Okay, you guys, I have to wrap up the class. Really good work today on those phrasal verbs. I can't wait. I hope a few of you can join me for the next hour, but I better go because I'm going to be late.